hear that, I am sorry. But to begin, first off, I just want to say, Randy, thank you for picking such a timely and relevant to the space in which you're presenting speech. I think that there were certain things that you just truly knocked out of the park on the speech. For one, I think that what you did a fantastic job of doing was elevating the stakes by using a personal anecdote at the start of your meeting. We all know small business owners who've struggled with the challenge that you described. By starting with that anecdote, you clearly showed us that the purpose of your speech was to diagnose the problem that is polarization, how it impacts businesses, and why we should care about it. Um, I think that another thing that you did very, very well was you gave us a lot of information and you were able to keep your audience engaged. Thanks to your body language and tone of your voice, what could have been a very dry topic, I couldn't look away from. So I think those are all excellent and important aspects of what made your speech really, really good. Now, I think there are some areas where there's room for growth. So, one thing is you're clearly emotionally moved by something. The cadence of your speech picks up. There's like a velocity aspect where you start at a very slow pace where it's easy to like follow along, but then you start to ramp up. And some of the ends of your sentences, it's hard to hear what you're saying and absorb it. I think tied to that is sometimes you would have run on sentences. So I would look out for if you're saying so a couple times back to back, that might mean that you need to break up those thoughts into smaller pieces. Um, One other thing tied to the fact that you had so much information you wanted to present, and something that I struggle with too is how to interject data and research as evidence for the argument you're trying to make. One thing I would suggest is thinking about framing sentences. Like, I want to talk to you about why it matters that we're no longer having long Thanksgiving dinner conversations. Here's a study, and these are all the hours lost. And then a framing sentence on the end. These hours could have been used doing X, Y, and Z. I think that being able to interject data and research and using sort of transitional framing sentences would really help. Similarly, one thing I thought that was a really powerful part of your speech was the end where you have the framework, which is your framework for how to solve this problem. And I think perhaps if you primed your audience that you would have been talking about it in the beginning of the speech, and then you finish with it sort of like as like a bookend, that would have been really helpful for sort of seeing what your role in this conversation is and sort of say, okay, like I'm going to identify a problem, but like spoiler alert, there's a solution for this problem. So we're looking out for that as we're listening in. But again, overall, I thought you did a fantastic job. I was highly engaged and really appreciated everything, the information that you prepared and your delivery. So thank you very much for that.